Aloha. Good evening. This is Andrew Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona, with Spiritual Image Productions on. I don't know what I'm gonna call it anymore since YouTube keeps screwing with me. They I don't know, they're screwing with my system, and I'm not able to record or broadcast from their studio, so I'm doing it differently right now. In the meantime, welcome to tonight's Andrew Aloha's Current Affairs and Updates, December 7th, 2020. There's a number of things that I came across that I thought that maybe you might be interested in checking out. The first thing I want to do is take a moment of silence for Natalie Desselle, I think that's how you pronounce it, Reid, and also Michael Marion, who I believe Natalie just passed away yesterday or today, and then Michael passed away about a week ago. But he's the husband of Bobbie Thomas, who's a fashion journalist, and also contributes to the Today Show. She has been dealing with Michael's situation for about a year and a half now. Apparently, he had a stroke last year, and then this year he had some organ failure going on. So eventually, that took his life into a different direction. And meantime, I think they have a son. Not sure how old he is. It looks like he's about 10 years old. Actually, 8 or 7 years old. I'm not sure. So and then Natalie Desselle Reid is a actress who has been in BAPS and also Eve. She was 53. Michael was a 42. But anyhow, she was 53. She was termed as being a bright shining star, appearing in a number of roles including BAPS, Eve, Tyler Perry's Madea, Big Happy Family, and then Queen Victoria's Wedding, to name a few movies and roles that she's done and played in. So I want to, and of course, may you both rest in peace and be well on your journey to your next lifetime, whatever that will be, and may your next lifetime be much more pleasant than this one, whatever that may be. So anyhow, we'll take a minute, and then we'll take it from there. And again, may you rest in peace. I think I like doing this format a lot better. I don't have a live audience doing it this way, but I don't have to worry about some idiot jacking me behind the scenes, screwing with my broadcast and disabling it, or some stupid thing that they got a hair up their butt about. So I think this works for me. But anyhow, there's a number of things I want to talk about, including the next thing I want to talk about is a message by Master Sananda And if you don't know who Sananda is, he's actually the reincarnation, as I understand, of Jesus Christ, who is assumably now living in Italy. So anyhow, there was a message I came across, and I apologize because I didn't get the reference in terms of where this message came from, but that one of the things that I'm gonna be doing, I'm looking at doing, is posting the articles. I've read a number of articles, came across a number of articles or videos, and I'm gonna post those links so you can go back and retrace back and check them out for yourself. You can correct me if you want. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. So as long as it's official and correct. But anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and post the links of these stories that I came across, so that way you can revisit them yourself. So anyhow, in this message, it's very befitting because it's like right on target, and I've had this message for weeks, and I've been wanting to put it in here, and I haven't done it till tonight, but it's perfect because it's exactly what needs to be put out there, I think, and if you understand, it's very clear what needs to be done for your next step, for lots of people, for their next step. So he says, you all are exceptionally powerful beings. This is because you are indeed an extension of your Creator, an aspect of, if you will, the spark of the Creator lives inside your hearts. You have the power to command the elements and therefore any object or material, other beings, and even your own bodies. You can take a jug of water, and by praying over it or telepathically telling it what you want to do from a place of love and gratitude, you can create a very healing holy water customized for your needs. You can take a meal you've cooked for your family and take a few moments to bless it, to ensure and that all the nutrition consumed is as bioavailable and nourishing as possible. You have gotten an unfortunate haircut. You can program your shampoo in this manner to accelerate the growth of your hair. Further, you can lay down in meditation and command your hair to grow. You can command your chakras to open and cleanse. Any alignment you command your body to improve by sending healing to it and letting it know that what you want it to do. If this is possible, why isn't everyone in a state of perfection at this time? Manifestation is much slower in this density, and you are still learning to focus your minds, to remain centered in the heart, and to not only raise your frequencies but keep them anchored, stabilized, and balanced at the higher level, which means being grounded and centered as well. It's tricky. It's a tricky balance, but you are encouraged to experiment with this co-creation power. The road to mastery is through practice and commitment. Master Sananda, and it's very amazing because I just got a haircut about a couple of days ago, a place called Great Clips or something like that here in Flagstaff, and the woman that cut my hair did a really shitty job of it. I mean, she thought I was an idiot and didn't know what the hell was going on and what I was doing, and it was such bullshit. So I won't be getting my haircut by her anymore ever in this lifetime, and probably any other lifetime, unless she goes to Vidal Sassoon School in France or in Paris and learns how to cut hair the right way. And I mean, she was basically in a hurry because there was a lot of people. But that's no excuse. She was being greedy and just wanting to make extra money, which is bullshit, at the expense of doing a shitty job on my hair. Not cool at all. Now, I don't really need to lay down and meditate and have my hair grow. I'm just going to let it grow naturally for the next month or two, a couple of months at least. And then I found another, actually in the process, and maybe it's a good thing, I found another beautician that he'll charge me, of course, a lot more money, but I think it might be perfect because apparently this guy has cut hair for a lot of Hollywood celebrities and a lot of celebrities and all this other stuff. So I'm assuming that the only reason that would happen is because he knows what he's doing, and he's not shortchanging himself and not being cheap to himself, which is uncool. And he's got the confidence and the know-how and the knowledge base and the skills and the talents and the tools to know what to do. So I'm confident that that's probably going to be a worthwhile venture when the time comes. So that'll be interesting. And also in this and Sananda in this message, it says that you can command your body. I read this and I thought, wow, I can do an alignment. So I did. I asked that all my chakras be perfectly aligned immediately and easily and karma free. And I asked that my bodies and all my chakras and my higher self, my soul, and my logo all be perfectly aligned with each other as well. So that was actually 2 programs that I did, so that I can go forward and be the highest version of myself that I can be. And that's ultimately the the name of the game. If you can do different things and know enough things to be the best version of yourself that you can be, you're on top of it. You're like, yeah, definitely in the right direction. Period. So I did a couple of programs to align my chakras, and then you can program your water. Again, water is a living consciousness, just like you are. Your mind is. Your body is. Your body is a living consciousness. So why not ask your body to cooperate with you and show you and teach you how to be healthy and be in right action, right conduct, right relationship with those around you and with yourself as well. So I mean, there's a lot that I really got out of this message, and and a lot of the stuff I've already been introduced to, but there is, it doesn't hurt to be reminded of the things of a lifestyle that you can live, which can be a really healthy, happy, joyful lifestyle. But if you don't ask, guess what? If you're not in collaboration with your body, with your mind, with your heart, with your soul, with your chakras, with those around you, the rest is up to you, right? So anyhow, that message was like so perfect in terms of tonight's current affairs and updates. So with that in mind, Rudy Giuliani, I'm not sure how to say if it's a G or G, but anyhow, I apologize, Rudy, if you is in the hospital or I don't know if he's hospitalized now, but he was or is in the hospital And people aren't taking this pandemic seriously. I just talked to my neighbor upstairs. Her father went to Indiana for some kind of meeting or something. He came back and the whole family got the virus. Luckily, her and I stayed a distance from each other. But if people, and apparently Rudy wasn't wearing a mask. Right? It's like that. If you don't want to take this seriously, that's up to you. But again, I was just talking to a guy today about this. This virus is I believe is a flu that upgraded from the stomach flu in the years that have gone by. We used to get the stomach flu, but now I believe that it's progressed to a sinus flu, and I told you guys this earlier in the year. I did a broadcast, and I said this already. You want to cover your nose to keep it warm and to keep it from breathing pollutants that don't need to be there, much less the virus from somebody or something else, and keep your nose, your sinuses protected. That's what you want. And I said this even before when they were saying, "Oh yeah, you don't need to wear the mask. You shouldn't wear a mask." Yeah, right, you idiot. That's stupid. But again, you want to protect your nose, your sinuses is what you want to protect, because that's where it's lodged in at. That's what I believe. And you keep your nose protected, your sinuses protected, and you take emergency vitamin C. You can stay away from the dairy products, the sugars, and if anything else, use a diffuser with equal parts of peppermint, tea tree oil, which will dry up your lungs so the fluids don't stay stuck in there and cause pneumonia, and then lemon oil and also eucalyptus to help open up your breathing capabilities. And then if anything else, go get some Vicks, rub it on your throat, rub it on your chest, and then take a Q-tip, put some in your sinuses, in your nose, to help open up your nose as well. So again, and then also take extra vitamin C, and of course stay warm and stay out of the limelight. Quarantine yourself if anything else, and ask your chakras to line themselves up. Ask them again. They're just like human beings, like people, or like a puppy or a pet or something like that, right? Hey, chakras, please align yourself right now perfectly so that I'll be in good health right away. Whatever. Please align yourself perfectly right away so that I will be in good wealth right away. Or whatever. The amount of programs, I call them programs, are endless. And if you can create it, you can imagine it, you can put it out there, you can program it, you can go with that, and there's all kinds of things that will shift in your life. I guarantee you, just something like that, simple like that, will cause a shift in your life, and you'll be going, wow, I didn't even think about that. Wow. And anyhow, like reversing diabetes, that's my next topic of discussion. I've been working with reversing diabetes for months, for a few years now, and it runs in my family. My grandmother had it, my mother had it, my sisters have it, and I'm surprised my dad never had it, but he already drank or anything like that. So, but then again, he's already passed away. So I'm sure he's doing well. But anyhow, I just grabbed it by the horns. This whole program called diabetes, and I talked to its spirit, and I said, hey, you're not welcome to be in my life, in my body. I need you to leave right now, and I command that you be replaced with light and love instead. So this diabetes thing is a very, very stubborn. The spirit from this disease, disorder, whatever you want to call it, is very, very stubborn. And I've been, it's like getting run over by a truck. It's like that, right? So anyhow, I've been working with it. When I first got diabetes, I moved into a new apartment in Tucson, and for a whole week at least, I was like paralyzed. I couldn't even get out of bed. I had to force myself literally to get out of bed, and I started drinking water by the gallons, literally by the gallons. Every day I drank at least a gallon of water. And pretty soon I started losing weight. I lost 40 pounds, 45 pounds, and I'm down to actually my normal weight right now, 125 pounds, 126 pounds, which is my normal weight for my size, for my height, for me, right? So, and I was overweight at the time when I first started dealing with this shit. So, so anyhow, I started changing my diet, changing all kinds of stuff, and I started investigating what's the deal, with this diabetes. So I started drinking veggie smoothies. So one of the things I figured out is that you want to bring in as much vegetables into your body that will help you shift the energy of your health in your body. So I started drinking veggie smoothies, and I lost another 15 pounds or so just by doing that. Then I moved back here to Flagstaff a few months later. Actually, about a year and a half later. So I moved back to Flagstaff, and I was bewildered because I was drinking all these green smoothies, and I was still having problems. I started also working for Uber and Lyft at the time, so I was really active, doing all kinds of stuff. And then February 2017, I was living here at Flagstaff at my new apartment here, and all of a sudden it hit me, man. I was hospitalized for 3 weeks because I had pneumonia, the flu, and I was also what was it called, when you're a ketoacidosis. I had a ketoacidosis because of the diabetes, because my sugar levels were out of whack, like way out of whack. So I believe I almost died. I don't know how close to death I was, but I think I was close. And so I ended up in ICU for a week, and then in general population in the hospital for another 2 weeks. And even when I got out of the hospital, I was really having a hard time with dealing with it. It's like I still had to stay home, and it was snowing at the time. There was all kinds of snow. It was cold anyhow, and I sure as hell didn't want to go out into that weather anyhow to begin with. So I just stayed home for weeks. I don't know how many weeks, but for weeks I stayed home, and I was able to get food and somehow or another, and I kept working with my diet. I kept investigating and I learned that people are reversing diabetes probably every day. I don't know, but I got an ebook that showed all the different, and the whole idea is that you want to take all the acid in your body and reduce it to the minimum, so that your body can function healthy and can absorb the good healthy stuff into your body, into your blood system. So and then so I got this ebook that showed all the different types of foods that are good to eat to alkalize your bodies. And so that's what you want to do, is alkalize your body and make it as pure as possible. So eating kale, cabbage, celery, avocados, mostly vegetables. In fact, all of them are vegetables that will alkalize your body the most. and then the meats and alcohol and even black tea and I don't remember all the other stuff, but a whole bunch of other stuff. Condiments will make your body acidy the most, right? Beef and pork or make your body acidy the most. So again, you want to stay away from that. So the fruits are in between. You know, they're good to cleanse your body, to give you fiber, so you can excrete. But they have lots of sugars in them. So you want to maintain a level of, and cantaloupe and honeydew, those types of fruits are okay because their levels aren't that high, and they're good enough so that they can promote excretion from your body. So, and that's what I figured out was one of the key ingredients to dealing with this diabetes. Because what I was learning is, first of all, I was allergic to what's that called? It's a tablet that you take, metformin. They put me on when I went into the hospital. They immediately put me on insulin and started giving me fluids and all kinds of stuff. Again, I was in ICU for a week, and then finally I started eating normal, and then they kicked me out. Man, what a bunch of people. They kicked me out into the general population, and then I started. And now the nice thing about all that whole program was, I started working with their staff, their kitchen staff, and in terms of eating things that I felt were beneficial for me instead of eating things that weren't useful for me. So I started eating lots of salads, and come to find out, potatoes, pasta, and rice, bread and tortillas are some of the worst foods to eat for carbs. If you want to eat lots of carbs, that's what you're going to eat. But for diabetics, those need to be minimized. You want to stay away from those foods as much as possible. So that's one of the first things that I started learning is that you need, minimizing carbs and sugars is the number one thing for diabetics. So that's what I started working on. So again, I started working on even my veggie smoothies. I finally was able to purchase a mixer, a Black & Decker mixer, which turned out to be pretty good. So far, it's still kicking butt, right? So I started doing my veggie smoothies, and I put some pineapple, some apples, some bananas. I can't remember all some green tea, some spinach, some kale, some celery, and I put in what you call a Novote, which is colostrum. This company has a thing that helps with colostrum, and if you ever get a chance to use it, I think it's actually good for even osteoporosis. I don't know that they've come out, but it's really good for bones and for healing your bones, helping to heal your bones. I had really bad, fungus on my toes, to the point that my toes were completely gone. I definitely didn't want to wear sandals when my toes looking that way. So finally, I started taking this stuff regularly, and now most of my toenails are back. They're back to normal almost, and I just have my left big toe is still working on coming back, but it's gradually coming back. I can see it, like literally. I look at my toe every day, and it's gradually coming back. And eventually, if I keep taking the colostrum, because I take a teaspoon of that every day anyhow by itself, plus I put it a big tablespoon of that in my veggie smoothie, and that actually makes a difference in the taste of my veggie to a lot nicer, smoother taste. So anyhow, I put some of that. I put some ginger in there, what else have I been putting in there? Oh, some chia seeds, and then I put some protein in there, some protein mix, because that's the other ingredient that I finally figured out I had to do. And what was happening is I found out I was allergic to the metformin. It was giving me, like, making me, it was upsetting my stomach, and then I stopped taking that. And then when I went into the hospital here at Flagstaff Medical Center, I was there for 3 weeks. They put me on insulin, so that was the first time I ever started taking insulin, and then afterwards, I was taking the insulin. I don't know. I wasn't even taking that much dose. 12 units, 15 units. I don't know. And then plus they had the long acting insulin, and then I was taking the short acting insulin too, right after each meal, right? So what I was finding out, I think I'm allergic to insulin as well, but because all of a sudden I was my eyesight was going crazy. I was like, it's like, you look in the sun and for a little bit, and you shouldn't do that anyhow, but when something bright comes into your face and your eyes, and then also you can't hardly see anymore. You have these spots and all this stuff. Well, it was like that. So whenever I took the insulin. And then some of these idiot doctors here in town were wanting me to take even more insulin beyond that, and they was already screwing with me, right? I said, well, screw you, dude. So I just, again, I was taking the doses that I felt were comfortable. So now, so what's been happening is now I still take the long-acting insulin by itself. I don't take anything else, and then I only take like 12 units of it. And I only take it whenever I feel like I need it, and I a lot of times I can feel my body, like it's when it becomes over when my body has too much sugar, there's too much sugar in it, too much stuff happening with it, I can feel it, and because what was happening is I was taking the insulin, I'd be like a zombie, man. Not only was I getting the effect from the eyes, but also I would go, yeah, I'm going to go do this and this today, and then come back and do whatever else afterwards. Well, today I've already gone downtown. I've gone to Walmart, and I've gone to my bank, and I've come back, and I'm still having enough energy to do all this right now. So isn't that amazing? So anyhow, when I take the insulin, it would wipe me out like a zombie, man. I couldn't move from my chair. The chair that I'm in right now, I was like glued to it for the rest of the night, for the rest of the day. So and it was a lot worse than it was now. Yesterday, I think I took a hit of insulin, and I think I could feel my sugar levels going up because I ate some mashed potatoes yesterday or the day before, and so whenever I eat mashed potatoes or lots of rice, or again lots of pasta, oh man, forget it. I just need to probably and if I know that my sugar levels are going to be really high, I'll just take a shot of insulin anyhow, and then I'll be fine after a while, right? So after a few hours, right? So it's like that. So anyhow, so I stopped taking the insulin, and pretty soon I was having lots more energy to get up and do stuff, and I was more active than I had been, and this stuff would like wipe me out, and I would take naps. Like I would sleep for hours instead of for minutes. I would sleep for hours, right? It was like that. So I got 5 hours of sleep this morning, and that's what I'm used to in my normal healthy lifestyle before all this shit happened. I was getting 5-6 hours of sleep a day, and I functioned with that just fine, no problem. I never had any problems with being too sleepy or anything like that. So anyhow, I got 5 hours of sleep last night, and that's why I'm talking to you about this right now, because I'm feeling like finally the diabetes is letting me go, and so I can move on. But it's a teacher. Diabetes is a teacher. Teaches you how to be eat healthy, how to be healthy, how to and exercise. And that's the other thing I've been doing I purchased a trampoline for the purpose of working with all this. So lately, for the last few days, I've been jumping on my trampoline. So and see, that's the whole other name of the game, is that you want to be able to exercise regularly every day, literally every day, so that you can overcome and reverse the diabetes. That's what's gonna help you get there. So and if you're wiped out like a zombie, yeah, I'm gonna get up and go jump on my trampoline. Not right. It's like that. So that's what you want to do, is get, and that's what I've been working on. And finally, within the last few days, literally within the last few days, my energy levels are finally starting to feel normal. And I can't say that the diabetes is reversed just yet, but I think I'm in the right direction. So now a couple of other factors concerning diabetes, and I don't know that there's a study on this, but so far everyone that I've talked to about diabetes concerning this, the same exact thing. There's a low iron count. Everybody that I've talked to so far that has diabetes has a low iron count. I don't know how true this is, that all diabetics have a low iron count, but I think it needs to be researched and investigated for sure, without a doubt. So I went and bought some iron, and I took some of it, and I may get back to it, but not yet. I want to wait to get a balance of where I'm at and what I'm dealing with, and where I get some kind of base and foundation to know what's going on with my body, and then I'll bring it back in and start taking it. So and I may just take like half a pill or whatever and leave it at that. So anyhow, I found that people have a low iron count, and I believe now this part I haven't researched as much, but I think it might be true that all diabetics or pre-diabetics have leaky gut syndrome. And what it is that there's these little holes in the lining of your intestines and stuff in your stomach, including crap, literally crap. And I'm talking about a pun for sure. Well, no, I'm not talking about a pun. But anyhow, the crap literally seeps into the holes, into your bloodstream, and that's what wipes you out. That's what makes you into a zombie. So what I've been working on doing is learning how to eat the stuff that will allow me to secrete every day, have some kind of bowel movement every day. And so I believe if you have a reasonable bowel movement every day, that that will help get the crap out of your stomach, and that you won't have as much, and then it won't go into your blood as much. So again, my energy levels are feeling pretty good, and they've been like this, like a roller coaster, like a yo-yo, but for several weeks now. But lately, within the last several days, I feel like I'm finally getting to a level where I'm getting to a point where I can officially say that I reversed diabetes, but that's still inconclusive yet. So don't hold me to it just yet. Now, finally, again, you want to minimize the carbohydrates. You want to minimize the sugars in your body. Literally, I had to take the pineapple out of my veggie drinks, and I found out that apples. I put 2 apples of into my veggie drink. That I found out that red apples have more sugar than the green apples. So I switched over to the Granny Smith apples, the green apples, and then there was the bananas. I believe were adding a lot of sugar into my my body, so I had to cut the bananas, and then also milk. I had to cut out milk out of my diet because that creates a lot of sugar in your body. And in fact, I was reading some article a week ago or 2 or something, and saying that people really don't need milk in their body, in their diets. The reason that it was created to have as part of your nutritional diet was because they needed to make money from the cows. And so they started saying, oh, you need to drink milk. So I don't know how true that is, but you can investigate it for yourself. But this article was pretty clear that you don't even need to drink milk in order as part of your daily healthy diet. So, but I did. I had to cut out milk because it was creating a lot of sugar in my body system, and so anyhow, and maybe this is how aliens from other worlds eat and drink too. I don't know. Maybe they don't. They're limited to this same food. Who knows? I mean, I'm supposedly from Sirius, right? That's where I originate from. My soul originates from, supposedly, but who knows? So anyhow, it's like that. And then finally, the last thing that I figured out that I had to do, again, I was minimizing my carbohydrates and the sugars to good healthy level, but I was still, my energy levels were still not working. I was still like low energy, and I couldn't work out. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't be as active as I am now right now. And like I said, for the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've been a lot more active than I usually am, which I'm happy about. But the other thing that I had to do is add protein mix. So there's different types of protein mix, but the one that has the least amount of carbs, least amount of sugars, and gives you the most protein is probably the one that you want to take, and assumably you won't be allergic to it. So if you want to again gain more energy, so I take a glass a day, put a big scoop of the stuff in there, and I drink that. I did some the other day, and I think it kept me up because I was getting too much energy going on. In fact, I don't even think I slept the night. I was up for like 48 hours, and finally I crashed out and I slept, but afterwards. But anyhow, you'll probably want to take that in the morning, and I drink 1 glass of veggie smoothie in the morning, and again, I haven't eaten anything today yet. I drank those this morning, those 2 glasses. I haven't eaten anything. I mean, literally nothing. I haven't eaten, and I'm still up and going. I'm hungry as hell right now, but that's besides the point. But I still have plenty of energy to do this whole broadcast. So it's like that. So anyhow, if that gives you any idea of the direction you might want to head in, then maybe that's what you want to do. And if you want to get the recipe that I have for the veggie drink, I put cilantro in it too as well. I forgot. But if you want to get the recipe for that, then get a hold of me and text, email, IM me or whatever, and I'll get it to you somehow or another. So with that in mind, let's talk politics, people. Now, I don't know how official the election is at this point, because there's still questions about the whole process, and of course Trump's got lots of questions, but that's what's assumably Biden is the president-elect, but we're literally not going to know until January 20th of the next year. I think it's going to be ongoing, and he's not going to stop. Trump is not going to stop. Now, with this in mind, and I came to you already with this information. I watched several different time traveler videos. They go, oh yeah, I traveled into 2039. Oh, I traveled into 3000, whatever. And I already said this. So what? So what? Just because your future is like this doesn't mean our future is like yours. Not even for a second. Now, it may be there's a lot of similarities. Maybe there's some same stuff going on, but it doesn't mean our future is necessarily their future, period, at all. Not even for a second. So, all of them, now this is what's interesting, all of them said, and there's about 4 or 5 of them at least, said that the next president-elect, or the next president of the United States, it was going to be Trump again. I don't know. This commands a whole lot of questions, and that's why I say this isn't going to be official or over until the day of the next inauguration. I think that's what's going to happen. So, and in that direction. They also said that in 2028, time travel was going to be commercialized, and there's some pretty hairy, dark stuff that they mentioned. At least a couple of things, which I'm not going to feed and I'm not going to put out there because there's no sense in programming that even more than it already is, if it's even for real or authentic or true. But they also said that there's gonna be a 6G network that's gonna come out after this 5G, and assumably it's gonna be so powerful that they're gonna put some kind of mechanism in the back of your head, the matrix, right? And you just plug in and you're downloaded with everything from the internet, and you're instantaneously educated. I don't know. And then robots are going to take over, or not take over, but they're going to come out by the boatloads, and they're going to be robots that do house chores, that run errands. I mean, I don't know all the stuff, but all kinds of stuff. And then the cars are going to be, I believe that they said that the cars are just going to be run by themselves. You'll get into a smaller car, and the GPS will be set up, and you go, oh yeah, I'm going to Montana, and we're going to talk about Montana here in a little bit. But anyhow, I'm going to go to Montana, and all you do is program it, and you're gone. It's like that. So anyhow, it's going to be interesting to see what the future is going to be like. Already, well, we won't know for sure until January 20th. But when January 20th comes around, if Joe Biden is inaugurated as the next president, then that means, again, our futures are going to be definitely different than these guys. They were all guys, futures. And so it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen beyond that. And again, I've already determined, astrologically wise, March 2023, it's going to be a huge party when Pluto goes into Aquarius. It's going to be a huge, huge party. The whole year of 2023 is going to be a huge party, and beyond. So it's going to be, and that's when officially the Golden Age is going to kick in for the next 2,000 years, and all kinds of stuff is going to happen. But again, we still have a few years left before all that kicks in. So we'll see what happens. So in the meantime, Joe Biden, president-elect, has been choosing his cabinet, and unfortunately, I didn't get to here. Let me make sure. I didn't get to one of the articles. They did some kind of I think on Facebook Live, they did a presentation where he chose some of his cabinet members or some of his officers, and then the latest one that he's chosen is hang on a second. I thought I had him. Anyhow, the latest choice that he's made is General Lloyd Austin, whom I congratulate. And there's some conflicting interests in terms of who should be in that position, and a lot of people don't want this guy into he's going to be running the Pentagon, I guess. And now the thing is that he's supposed to have been retired for at least 7 years before he's given this position. He's only been retired for, I think, 4 years. I think he retired 2016, and so what they're going to do is they're going to apply for a waiver, so that he can take up that position. The only problem with that is that Jim Mattis, who assumably has a lot more status, was already waived into his position, the same position with President Donald Trump, right? So now people don't want to give another waiver to somebody else, to the next person. So he still is lurking in the wings, and so it's not 100% that he's going to be running the Pentagon just yet. So we're going to see. Apparently, Jim Mattis is now doing it, and again he was waiving it, and so if he doesn't, well, according to Joe Biden, he was the safest choice, even though there's a lot of now the other thing I figured out, is that this General Lloyd Austin is part of several other companies, and I'm wondering if there's going to be a conflict of interest because of his involvement with these other companies, which I think it probably will be. So it was like with that, I can't remember the guy that was running the post office, the USPS postmaster general or whatever. Him and his wife were running companies that had to do with postal services. So that's huge conflict of interest. That's a lot of shit, and he shouldn't be in that position. I mean, if he wasn't involved and owned these companies, and only his wife did, that would be a different story still. But him and his wife are involved with other postal services, and and plus he's running the USPS as well, which is total bullshit, complete bullshit. So anyhow, I'm thinking that there's going to be a conflict of interest. So I think that it's really iffy whether he should be running the Pentagon. Now they did mention a couple of other people, including former Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson, whom people have already determined that they don't want him there because he's been, I think, pulling some dirty pull with the borders and getting people kicked out of the country faster than they should be, and plus he's been they've been sending drones to target other people to kill them, and he's apparently been part of that process, or maybe running that process. I don't know, but anyhow, I wouldn't choose him either, because now one of the things that's mentioned that has to be accomplished as somebody that's running the Pentagon is that we still have to deal with China and counterterrorism in the road ahead in the months and years to come. And they're saying that Michelle Flournoy is probably the next pick if General Lloyd Austin doesn't make it through the red tape. Then I agree. Michelle Flournoy was with the Clinton and Obama administration, and she apparently is very qualified to deal with running the Pentagon. Whether I want to say it, but I'm not going to say it. But there's things that about that are questionable as well. But if this Lloyd Austin doesn't cut the mustard, then I believe that should be the next choice. So, and apparently Hillary Clinton was going to choose her if she became president, but apparently that didn't happen, right? So anyhow, there's a lot of questions around that, and I guess we'll see what happened. Time will tell, right? So and with that in mind, again with these elections, the stimulus check. Oh, what a line of shit. Mitch McConnell has agreed to put out what a $908 billion stimulus package only for business people and only for a select number of other items, basically only for the rich people is what I see, for what I understand, and screw everybody else. Bullshit. That's what I say. Nobody else is going to get a cut of that check, especially all the Americans that are working their asses off, and that have been working their asses off to keep this country going. And the businesses, well, yeah, maybe, but who works for those businesses? Yeah, exactly. And if they didn't have people to work for them, they wouldn't have shit. They wouldn't have a business at all. That's bullshit. So I think that's a line of shit. I think that doesn't need to be passed yet. But I think something needs to be passed that's helpful for everyone, not just for a few people with their fingers up their ass. Bullshit. So that's not cool at all. And Nancy, I don't know, did they bribe Nancy Pelosi and say, oh, we'll give you $100,000 check if you agree to this? Who knows what all is behind closed doors in the Pentagon, in the White House, right? Who knows? And if Nancy, if you're being bribed and you're accepting that bribe, you need to step down and give your job to somebody else. If you don't like your job, Mitch McConnell, the same thing. If y'all don't like your job, quit and go somewhere else. We need people that are going to be professional, they're going to be honest, right action, right conduct, right relationship with each other and with themselves. Period. No bullshit, no other, I don't know what do you want to say, but no other fantasies beyond that. Period. No fantasies at all. You need to be real with the American people, and you need to be real with yourself. Because who's gonna catch the tail end of all this? Your grandkids and their kids and their kids. You think it's gonna go away? I'm gonna wash this all underneath the carpet, and it's all just gonna. Yeah, keep thinking that. See how far it gets you, you stupid ass. You're funny, right? So anyhow, you need to be real with the American people. Period. And professional, for that matter. So anyhow, again, that stimulus check isn't going to help the poverty people. It's going to help some middle class people, but I don't think it's going to help a lot, or all of them for sure. So we're going to see what's going to happen. And so with that in mind, the holiday season, people, just keep it real for yourself. You know, there's a lot of people that are committing suicide. A lot of people commit suicide during this time of year. Yeah, how selfish is that? How stupid is that? Because the next lifetime, you're going to have to deal with that energy, and that's one of the hardest energies to deal with, is suicide. So if you were going to go ahead and commit suicide, do it. Go for it. But you're also going to deal with the karma and the bullshit and the heartaches that you're going to cause by doing a stupid, selfish act like that. Period. So, and a lot of people, that's the other thing about this holiday season. There's a lot of people that are buying online now these days. Now, what I've seen and I've been coming across is that a lot of companies are really screwing people over online. A lot of the purchases that are made online, make sure you get screenshots of the item that you're purchasing, of the receipt, a receipt of the an invoice of what you're purchasing, and make sure you get all a screenshot of all the stuff that your product or service comes with. Make sure you're very clear, and also look at the little fine tune writing. What, pearl feet? Yeah, they have some nice shoes. I got some really nice shoes from them. But if your shoes don't fit, guess what? You're stuck with them. You can't send them back, and they won't give you your money back. And that's the other thing. If you're purchasing from overseas companies, from other countries, you make sure that you read the right fine print, because a lot of these companies are bullshitting people, and make sure that you're getting what they say you're going to get. Another company, I actually 2 or 3 companies, they go, oh yeah, just buy 3 of these bottles and you'll get this price. So I go, well, how much was that? So I went and clicked on the button to see how much it was going to be, and they charged me right there on the spot. They didn't even think twice about it. They just charged me right there on the spot without me, because usually you go, oh yeah, I want to purchase this, and I want to purchase one of these. So you click the button, and it takes you to the screen where you have to confirm your purchase. Well, on this purchase, it didn't confirm it, and they just went straight to the checkout and charged me. So, oh man, I was pissed. So I wrote the company. I said, this is bullshit. You need to change your marketing tactics. And they purposely do that, because a lot of people won't. They won't go and file a claim or a grievance or complain about any such thing. So they do it purposely like that, just so they'll get extra sales, which is a lot of shit. So again, be very conscious and aware of your purchases online. I would definitely recommend that. Now, with this in mind, this Christmas, on the 21st, there's going to be an alignment between Jupiter and Saturn. It's going to be a huge alignment. And again, I'm going to place the links to these articles that I've read, and you can read them for yourself if you want. If you don't have enough information, or you want to check it for yourself. Apparently, Jupiter and Saturn haven't been this close to each other in almost 800 years. I think 790 years or something. So anyhow, apparently they do line up every 20 years, but they're not going to be as close as they are going to be on December 21st. Now, which is also the solstice. And now I was gonna attend an astrological conference that was supposed to happen in September, but I don't know if it got canceled or not, because I decided not to, and with good reason. So I believe it's a huge astrological conference. They have determined that this is going to be a huge shift. Now, this shift has already been happening for the last several weeks, probably, maybe several days, but probably several weeks. And apparently you can go actually anywhere in the world and watch this take place. You can already see for at least the last week or so, but for the next 2 weeks you can still see the planets coming closer and closer and closer until January 21st, and then they'll start to come apart again. But apparently, if you go at sunset, especially if there's no clouds in the sky, and you go look out into the eastern sky, because you'll see Jupiter and the brightest star in the sky, and then I believe you'll see Saturn right next to it, which will be dimmer, but it'll still be there. But anyhow, you can see those planets lining up at I believe they were saying at the best time to see it is 1 hour after sunset. So you can go to go out and drink your wine or beer or soda or whatever, hang out, put out the picnic blanket and just chill, and then go and watch this happening. You can go at sunset, and then around an hour after sunset, you'll see the real deal. And it's apparently, if you live further north on planet Earth, then it'll be harder to see. Or actually, I think it'll still be fine to see it, but you won't. It won't happen as long because there won't be a sunset happening as long as there is in the middle of the Earth. So wherever you live at, I believe you can see it no matter what. So anyhow, it'll be interesting. Now it'll be interesting to see what kind of energetic effects it's going to have on people. Is it going to make you become more angry or nicer or happy? I don't know, but it'll be I believe that alignment. This is what I see. That alignment will be healing. It will promote huge amounts of healing with fear. And I can't. Saturn is in Aquarius, I believe, right now. So the fear of being with groups, being an artist, being magical, ceremonial orders, dealing with those types of things. So I think it's really going to push that energy of healing of fears with those aspects. So we'll see. Now with that in mind, man, this is just blending like no tomorrow. The internet romance scammer behavior. Now, there's a person in my life who's involved with one of these assholes. Apparently, let me see. Let me see. No. There's some other information that I'll see if I can find it and throw it in here. But apparently, these guys, there's a lot of internet scamming going on, and a lot of times they'll have you go buy gift cards from Walmart and all kinds of stuff. So, but there's a lot of these people will take on different characters to play the part, like an active military person. A lot of times it's an active military, a construction worker, a cruise ship worker, a captain of a cargo ship, marine engineer, civil engineer, international car buyer, a gym fitness instructor, a Bitcoin investor, an international diamond or jewelry dealer, and pilots. Now, a lot of these scammers are heavily involved with Facebook, from what I've seen so far. I don't know. There's other groups that I've worked with, and there's some scammers there too. But if they are from Africa, Nigeria, or whatever, bleep, out. I kick them out. I reject them because, and I don't want to be. I don't have intentions of being a real asshole about that, but I don't have any choice because and it doesn't matter because some of these people they put on fake pictures of themselves, and they say, oh yeah, and the way that you're going to know about these guys is that they want to talk to you on WhatsApp, and also they want to talk to you on, what was it? Let me see if I can find it. I mean, right away, Google Hangouts. Those are the main two places that they want to hang out with you at. Right away, instead of saying, hey, yeah, how are you doing, get to know you, they go, oh, why don't we talk on Google Apps? Or they'll ask for your email. Or why don't you email me at so-and-so? Why? Because that's where and if you look at their account, if it's a Gmail email account, bingo, that's where the Google Hangouts is. That's where they talk to you on Google Hangouts. So they want to talk to you on Google Hangouts. And then once you talk to them, you start talking to them, they'll go, oh, yeah. And you're going, oh, yeah, but I want to see a video version of this person. I want to see if this person is for real or full of shit. So, right? So you go and you one girl I video conference with on WhatsApp. She was on there like for 10 seconds, maybe not even 10 seconds, a few seconds, so I can see who she is and that she's for real. And then, bloop, she cuts you off, which is a line of shit. So they'll try to get you to see them on video so that you think they're for real and they're being real with you. And then all of a sudden they start falling right away. They start falling in love with you. Oh, I want to get married, and and this is one of the things they pulled on this other person that I'm talking to you about. They go, oh yeah, let's get married on Christmas, and we'll get together. And so what does he do? He goes, oh, I can't make it. Oh darn! Wouldn't you imagine that? They can't make it to visit you on Christmas. And then he's going, oh, but my kid is in the hospital and I need $700. And what does this person do? Gives them $700. What I'd like to. Oh man, the karma for this guy is not going to be very nice. I already know it. So he's going to be. So finally, so anyhow, they'll come up with some kind of excuse to give them money. Let me see some of the excuses they need. Let me see. Oh, they need to fly home to visit their spouse. They ask for money for their flight since they don't have access to their own bank account. And especially if they're in the military, they supposedly don't have access. This one guy was supposedly worked for the federal government, and he didn't have access to his money, but his kid was in the hospital, and he needed money to pay for the bill. What a line of shit, right? So so this military personnel, or this federal person, can't get to his money, and apparently all federal people, for the most part, and all military people pretty much have access to their money no matter where they live. So that's the rule of thumb. So if they're coming to you with that kind of bullshit, see you later. That's a huge red flag. Kick them out. Like, don't even think about it. Just kick them out. And the people that they pry on, these people, number one, I figured out, a lot of these people are from the Nigerian mafia, right? They've figured out all these scams, and they're getting, I don't know, millions, billions of dollars from these people, and every day they're doing this, and again, they try to make you fall in love, and the people that are scamming the most are people that are more likely disabled, old people, people that got regular income coming in, but they're weak-minded. And that's the other thing they'll do. They will talk to you at all hours of the day. They'll talk to you, and oh, honey, I can't talk to you until 3 o'clock in the morning your time, because I got to do what. And what they do is they try to wear these people down so that they'll be delusional. They can't think straight, and then oh yeah, and then they'll give up their money. So that's what they try to do. So and if people don't recognize this and don't understand this, you're going to be in a hoopla of trouble, and that's what's going to happen. So, and then beyond that, so finally I helped this person out, and we finally got her to a place where she can be safe, to at least in some way or another. But what beyond that, they'll start scamming you. They'll start even more. They'll have a false or fake Social Security check sent to you, or some kind of fake check sent to you, so you can go cash it. And then they want some of that money. When you go cash it, they want to, for $2,000. Well, honey, I need $1,500. My kid's in the hospital, whatever. So they know you got money coming in. So and who pays that check back? That false check? You do, because you didn't take the time to make sure that check was going to clear, and you didn't take the time to make sure it was false. So if you and I've been given a check like that before. It was a false check. Somebody, it was one of those scams that they go, you go. It was secret shopper. You go in and go to Walmart and check on all this stuff and make sure it's good, and then you give us a report. And they go, we'll send you money in advance, a check in advance, so that you can make sure you have the money for the goods, and then you cash it, and then you buy this and this and that, and then you keep the rest, Right. What a line of shit. I took that check to my bank, and I talked to the manager. I said, hey, can you do me a favor and check to see if this is real or not? And sure enough, she goes, no, this is completely false. It's a fake check. And ever since then, I don't deal with secret shoppers for shit, not even for a second. I don't care if they're real or not. I don't do that program ever. So anyhow, but it's like that. They'll have Social Security checks sent to you, and who knows what other kind of bullshit that they, because what they try to do. This is the other thing. They will send you money. They'll go, oh honey, I'm going to give you some money so that you can use it for a dildo, so that they can make you feel happy. So they can be a gigolo, right? So they send you a dildo from Amazon so they can have phone sex with you or whatever and make you feel good, so you'll give up your money. So anyhow, then they send you the money, so then they get your bank account, and then they start getting into your bank account so that so that they can steal your money from your bank account directly. So it's like that. So I would again, if especially like on Facebook, if they don't have any friends hardly at all, and if you can see when they became a friend, became a member of Facebook, a lot of times if it was last year, then they might be okay. And especially if they have lots and lots of friends, then that might be. And even on Instagram, the same thing. The same as if they haven't been a member of that social media group very long, they don't have hardly any friends at all, and they're single. I mean, all kinds of shit that you can look at. Go look at their about, their biography or whatever, and there's no listing on there at all. And especially if they don't have a background on their Facebook profile, especially if they don't most of the time, they don't have a background they just threw something together and they started marketing so they can scam somebody. That's the way these people are. So I would be very careful when people are like that. So it's like that. So now let me see. Either way, when asked to send, when they ask you to send them money, a lot of times the money will be to a different person, rather than being to the person there. Jason, like this guy, his name was he called himself Griffin, right? And then the money was being sent to a Frank Morris, and so. Doesn't that tell you something's wrong right there? And then on top of that, they have, especially this Nigerian mafia, they have all of these people. They have a whole community of people that are working with them, working for them. I don't know, working with them, but they're lawyers, they're nurses, they're doctors, and to make up any kind of bullshit scheme and story that they want to make up, so that they can get you to give up your money. And some of these people are giving thousands. They'll have you sell your house. They'll have you sell your car. I mean, all kinds of bullshit. So and they'll have you do all these investments. They'll have you do an investment. Invest $20,000 in this program, and we're going to get you $40,000 back in 2 or 3 years. Oh, and we will pay you back. Oh, can I borrow some money? We will pay. They're always, we'll pay you back. Right. This person that I'm talking about hasn't seen a dime, a nickel, and she still thinks that he's such a hero. He's like full of shit. But anyhow, see, all scammers fall in love with you. They want to immediately hang out with you on Google Hangouts or WhatsApp, and they will blackmail you. They'll get you to have phone sex with them, or do something to blackmail you or threaten you. They will threaten you, and if that's starting to happen, especially right away, you know it's time to see you later. And if you have to call the police, do not be afraid to call the police or the FBI, because some of these people are not nice people. They're cutthroat assholes, and I don't recommend that you get yourself involved with them at all, not even for a second. Again, they'll get you to have cyber sex with you so that they can blackmail you. Let's see, what else? Again, protect yourself, okay? So now the next thing I want to talk about. Now this is interesting because, wow, I haven't been able to watch as many of the sessions or presentations as I have wanted to. But there's a group, this is from Amazon, and I can't remember, Amazon Web Service or something like that. But basically, it's a company that helps other businesses with all kinds of functions. I was watching, I can't remember, Andy Jassy, who was saying, who did a presentation. He was one of the keynote speakers for this AWS reInvent 2020. Excuse me, virtual.avsevents.com. You can go there and check. They've been doing this conference every year for a week, but this year, because of the pandemic, they're doing it for 3 weeks. So you can go online, register, and then watch whatever your stuff. And I mean, they really get into all the technical stuff, which is way over my head. A lot of stuff, but there's still a lot of interesting stuff, like the supersonic jet that's coming out that'll get you from, I don't know, from New York to San Francisco in 4.3 hours or something. I don't remember. From China to San Francisco in less than 8 hours, or I don't remember. But anyhow, it's just like phenomenal. And apparently, AWS has been instrumental in helping create the infrastructure, the programming, the AI, the computer stuff for them to be able to function like that. So they've also AWS is also working with the Air Force. They're working with farming equipment. I mean, all kinds of stuff. It just blew me away, all the stuff that they're doing. And so I was just like, wow, I was just blown away. So literally and officially, and I believe this year, they're coming out with all of these programs, all of these software for doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, all kinds of stuff that's out of this world. And so if you're you're into that stuff, or you have a company that needs that type of support, I would definitely check it out. It's beyond me, some of the stuff they're coming out with. So and again, I can't remember, there was a whole, I mean, he had people coming on that were part of that were like the owners of these companies coming out and explaining what they were doing, and then he was talking about some of the other stuff going on. So it was pretty amazing. I was just, and officially, what I was going to say earlier is that I believe the computer era, the communication age, is taking off like no tomorrow. Like, wow, it just blows me away. So anyhow, for the next 2 weeks, they're still going to have stuff going on. So there's still time to catch up, catch a lot of the stuff. And if you don't catch it now, of course you can catch it next year or whatever. So it's like that. Now, let's see. Oh, transmission meditation. Again, this is about. If you don't know anything about transmission meditation, you can go on my web. Actually, I'll put a link in here so you can check it out for yourself. But you can go to my website. I have a video. There's some other videos you can watch about it. It's a service of karma yoga and Leya yoga for all mankind, and all the angels and saints I want to say all the angels and saints participate in this meditation, but I'm just a little drop in the bucket, and it's undetermined. But there are a number of angels and saints that do this, including Sai Baba, including Sananda or Jesus, including Maitreya Buddha. All kinds of beings out there. The spirit of the age of Aquarius, the spirit of the golden age, Prema Sai Baba. Well, maybe Prema Sai Baba, but I don't know. Anyhow, but all kinds of beings do this. The spirit of cosmic wisdom. I want to say Ganesh. All kinds of beings do this meditation, and it's a group service, and it is a service. Apparently, if you do this meditation for a year, you clear away 10 years of karma from your life. So I figure, since I've been doing this since 1986, really, that long? Wow. 24, 40. If I've been doing this for years and years, I think I'm already clearing my karma from next lifetime and probably the next, and who knows what else beyond that. So it's hard to say. So that's what I figure. So now and again I do this meditation every week. You can go to spiritualimageproductions.com, spiritualimageproductions.com. Left hand side there's a link. And there's a page that'll take you to a page where it gives you all kinds of information, and including the dates that I'll be meditating on. Typically, I do the regular group meditation, world group meditation. It's some of the only meditation that I know of out there. There's several groups. I don't know, 200-300 groups. I don't know how many groups, but there's several groups out there, and this is different than all those groups because I'm linking up. I get people I don't even know who they are, and from wherever, all over the world, that meditate with me, and you can just feel the energy just pouring in like no tomorrow, right? So it's like that. But the spearhead of this meditation was Benjamin Creme. Back in the 70s, he started doing this, and then he started doing it all over the world. Well, I went. His original group was in England, London, England, and I went to live there I did a study abroad program there for a semester. So I went to meditate with this group. So I've been linked, and once you link up to a group, once you go to a meditation group and link up, you can stay connected to that group for life. So as long as they're doing the same thing, same place, same time, for life. So it's like that. So I maintain my connection with that group. But Benjamin Creme, on the other hand, passed away transitioned a few years ago. I think 3 years ago. Can't remember. But anyhow, so I've been doing this meditation to maintain that connection with people all over the world. And it doesn't matter who you are. So as long as you have an intention to serve under the guise of unconditional love and unconditionality, then it's fine. You're fine. But the only other thing is that if you are mentally disabled or emotionally disabled, then I would recommend that you maybe start with something easier, or even if you are, you can start with 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night, and just keep doing that until you're ready to join with a group, and then you can join a group after you get to about 30 minutes or something like that. But again, I wouldn't recommend doing too much of it, because literally I've shown this to 2 other people that I thought were fine, or done this meditation with 2 other people, and literally they went crazy. I kid you not. They went mentally. They couldn't handle this because it was too much for them. So they had one woman. She was actually a veteran, a meditator from one of the groups, one of the big groups, and she did this. I did this with them, and she had to take a whole year off before she could come back again. And this other guy, actually here in Flagstaff, and I don't know, I think his wife was a cop or something like that in California or something. I don't remember, but anyhow, he lost it, and I don't know. I haven't seen him in a long time, so I don't know where he's at or what he's doing, or if he's okay. But I'm assuming he's okay. So, anyhow, a couple of other things that have come across my path is that the prejudice, it just happens. I had a similar thing, Montana Border Patrol lawsuit settlement. I had a similar thing that I went through in Sedona when I first moved to Arizona. I lived in Sedona, and a cop, out of the blue, he had no reason, no right to just grab me and search me on the streets. Literally, this was on the streets, which was a lot of shit. And I knew he didn't have the right, but I wasn't gonna argue. I was just gonna go with the flow and let him deal with his karma on his own time, because I wasn't gonna put up with that bullshit, right? So anyhow, something similar happened to these women in Montana. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Anna Suda and Martha Mimi Hernandez. They're two U.S. citizens. They moved to this Hevery, Montana. I can't remember what the name of this place is. But anyhow, they moved to Montana, a small town, and they're certified nurse assistants, and they get jobs there, working there. Havre, Montana. They're working at Northern Montana Care Center, and they go in to get gas, or I don't know, some gas joint, and they went inside to, and because they were talking Spanish, some border patrol starts harassing them and giving them the asking for identification and asking all kinds of questions, which he had no right, especially since I believe what the story went, that he wasn't even on patrol. He was in regular street clothes. So he's harassing these women, and they filed a lawsuit, and it doesn't say how much money they won from the border patrol, but I can guarantee you it's probably a few $1 million minimum. So anyhow, and the thing is that's not what made it worse. That's not what made the situation really prejudicial and bullshit and discriminating. The fact that what they were saying in this story is that this border patrol was sending texts that were harassment in nature, and not only that, but he belonged to some kind of a Facebook group on IM 10-15, where border patrols go on there and put all kinds of derogatory comments and jokes about the deaths of immigrants and Latino members of Congress, and so that's what made this completely appalling, right? And then they go question the supervisor, and the supervisor is agreeing with this border patrol, with this guy that was harassing these women. He's going, oh, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, they deal with this all the time. Right, you're full of shit. What'd you say? So anyhow, they did. They won that lawsuit. The ACLU was instrumental in coming forward and winning that case. So again, if you think you're being racist and derogatory, and nobody's hearing you or seeing you, the walls are listening. Trust me, they are. You don't even know. You don't even know. And then there was another lawsuit settlement with DoorDash. They had to pay out $2.5 million because they were I don't know that they were siphoning tips, but they were accused of stealing drivers' tips. So apparently, and not just with DoorDash, but apparently California passed a proposition where because there was there's Proposition 22, I believe, and under that proposition, if I understand this correctly, these companies, Uber, Lyft, what was the other ones? There's a couple other companies. Let's see if I can find them. Oh yeah, Instacart and DoorDash. They, according to this law, this proposition, they're supposed to treat their drivers like regular employees, and they're no longer considered independent contractors. So they have to, if they're not getting enough, making enough wages in a 8-hour shift or whatever, then they have to pay them the minimum wage, and they have to provide them with insurance, health insurance, and all that other stuff that businesses have to provide for. Well, apparently, last year, I believe it was last year. Was it last year? This month, November 2020, when their joint Proposition 22 ballot measure passed in the California election, the ballot measure was created to exempt them from AB 5. AB 5. I take it back. Was the law? Was the proposition? Was the thing that was passed that required these companies to treat their employees like their workers like employees instead of independent contractors. So apparently, Proposition 22 gave them a break, and so now they can go back to treating them as, a law that required gig-based firms to pay their contractors like employees with minimum wages, workers' compensation. So now this law doesn't require them to treat them as employees anymore, as from what I understand. Labor experts told Business Insider that Proposition 22 will still require big companies to provide more benefits to workers, such as health care subsidies, but less than what. So they don't have to than what they would receive as employees. So they still have to provide their employees. Again, I don't know if this Proposition 22 is saying that now these people, these drivers, are considered employees or independent contractors. That I don't think it's said one way or another, but they still have to provide them with health care subsidies and other benefits, but not compared to what they used to or were paying out. And it's reducing the amount of labor fees that they have to put out, which again, is it bullshit? I don't know. I think it probably is, but that's besides the point. And let me see a couple of things. Let me see with another. And this I just came across like tonight. See, hang on a second. Where is it at? Florida State Police raid home of Rebecca Jones, data scientist who challenged DeSantis on coronavirus statistics. Now, this guy, I believe, is the governor of Florida, DeSantis, Governor Ron DeSantis, and apparently he does not have a good reputation to begin with. So apparently they were coming out with all these stats, all these numbers for Florida about the coronavirus and the deaths and cases and all this stuff. And I believe he asked Rebecca Jones, I don't know if directly or indirectly, to manipulate the numbers so that they would reflect good for Florida. Well, apparently she goes, no, hell no, I'm not going to do that. So they fire her because of that. And so now the thing is, she went on to publish these stats on her own with her own sources, with her own computer, out of her own place, and then the Florida State Police went and raided her place and took her computers. I think they even took her phone and all her equipment. So now the thing is, there's a lot of stuff being questioned in terms of what's going on. And again, this DeSantos guy, DeSantis doesn't have a good reputation, but apparently they had her at gunpoint. They pointed the guns at her kids. I mean, I don't know that there's a lawsuit, or even if there is, that it will fly. But because apparently she was doing stuff that she was going into the company's back end, maybe that's a good word, and gaining the information. So that may be where she screwed up at. But if she was producing these stats on her own without getting into the company's stuff, then she probably would definitely have a lawsuit. And so I don't know. There's some questions about this, and I feel for this woman, but if you're gonna do something, you have to do it right. It says in July she published an op-ed in the Miami Herald urging other states' employees to come forward. You are not alone. You have the power to end numbers and truth. So basically, she was wanting to put the truth out there, which I think was probably the case, but the way she was doing it, I think, was probably where she may have screwed up yet. The police raid comes a day before DeSantis is set to participate in a White House panel on vaccine distribution with 3 other governors. DeSantis has consistently received some of the lowest approval ratings in the nation for his handling of the pandemic. A widely shared investigation published by the South Florida Sun Sentinel last week described how he misled the public on the COVID-19 pandemic by using secrecy and spin. Again, this article came out today, and so I think they need to remove him from that panel, and Sarah what's her name? What's this girl's name? Rebecca Jones may need to just lick her wounds and walk away. So it's hard to say. And finally, the last thing that I want to talk about. I wanted to, because there's a lot of stuff going on. I take it back. There's two things I want to talk about. The Christmas Chronicles. I don't know if you've watched that, but it's on Netflix right now with Kurt Russell and his wife, Goldie Hawn. Both are really good movies to watch. If you want a good Christmas movie to watch with the kids, with your friends, whatever, that would be a perfect one to watch on Christmas or between now and Christmas or whatever. And then the not only Chronicles, Christmas Chronicles 1, but also Part 2, which was really good. I thought, man, because a lot of movies, they can't. Most movies, they'll make movie number 1, and then they come out with number 2 and 3 and so forth. Well, this movie, the Part 2 was actually pretty good as well with Kurt Russell. If you want a review of that, you can go. I'm gonna do. I think I already did. No, I don't think I have. But anyhow, I'm gonna do a review of that in my Andrew Aloha. What is it? Time out. Movie reviews. I think that's what I'm calling it. 'Cause I had to create 2 shows out of this, 2 broadcasts, because it was running into too much information. So anyhow, Andrew Aloha movie reviews or something like that. So anyhow, you can watch, check out the review from that. I don't know when I'm going to do that review, but within the next, I don't know, week or two or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. And then now another movie, they're coming out with an Avatar 2. I think it's not coming out till 2022. They pushed a lot of movies back because of this pandemic. But they're coming out with an Avatar 2. And then what I figured out was they're also coming out with Avatar 3, Avatar 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 maybe. I don't know. But several other Avatar movies between now and the next 8 years or so. Something like that. So, and again, you know, can it hold the muster? Can the second one, third one, fourth one hold the muster? I guess we'll find out. But this Christmas Chronicles Part 2 definitely held its own. And it was a different structure, but it was still the same people, same plot type of thing. So it was interesting to watch. There's some good stuff in there. And then with Matrix 4, they're coming out with a Matrix 4. I don't know if I already told you that. But I believe it's coming out next year, if I remember right. So that'll be interesting. And then they're also coming out with a Pitch Perfect 4. So I don't think that's coming out till 2022 as well. And I don't know how good that one's going to be. But the other three have been pretty good so far. And then of course the other three Matrixes are pretty good, but I don't know. I'm questioning this Matrix 4 to see what's going to come out of that. And finally, I want to finalize or finish this broadcast, this Andrew Aloha's current affairs and updates, with and I'm going to put I'm putting the link in there so you can check it out for yourself. With this. This TikTok user, right? Leaves I think it was a she leaves she leaves a post for the delivery drivers. Step on this X and do a little dance. And at first they were like, no, I think she did a square first, and then she did an X. And this one delivery driver, I don't remember if it was FedEx or whatever, but she goes and does a little TikTok routine, right? And she just it was funny. It was hilarious. So you can go check it out for yourself. Again, I'll put the link. I'll put the link on here so you can check it out for yourself, and it'll be like that. So anyhow, have an awesome Christmas holiday season. Tons of blessings to you and your family throughout 2021. Be safe. Don't be stupid, and just keep that mask on. Again, this virus is a sinus flu. That's what I believe, instead of a stomach flu. So you want to keep that mask on and protect yourself, and also protect those people around you as well. So it's like that. Have a God-Goddess week, and have a God-Goddess rest of 2020 and 2021. Be the love that you are, always have been, and always will be. Aloha.